Good.
I call this our board meeting on June 22nd to order. Let's do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 4 of our 5 members here, so we do have a quorum. Did anyone have a chance to look over the minutes from last board meeting?
Motion to accept.
I have a motion to accept the minutes from the last board meeting.
I second.
Seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. And new business. I'm trying to review the project list that on my computer. Priorities project list. Take it, Bill.
Okay, so this is the big one that we always work on every year. We can talk about it right now, and I can make changes later. So this is just looking over. I didn't have to make that many changes. I just took off the things that we completed already. Some of these things are all going to be in progress for a while, but I just want, and then I think I added a few things, but nothing out of the radar of what we haven't been looking to do for, the past 5 years anyways.
It is quite the list.
Yeah, it's an aggressive list.
It would be great for you to do it, but I know we can't do everything.
Yeah, and so I try to put somewhat obtainable, but still goal-oriented items on there, so it may be some we may not be able to get to, but we can push them off, to the next year. But if we don't have goals, we'll never achieve anything, so
Right.
that's kind of the thing with this. And I just want to make sure that, so using the master plan, some of this was master plan items, and then some is staff items as well, and then your previous items. So those all together, if you want to change anything, feel free. If you want to take time and send me an email later, that's fine as well. And then I can bring a final list to the next meeting.
Okay.
But just going through there.
So is the locker room, is that number one? That's as if first thing you're going to do.
Yeah, and the reason why it's number one kind of is because all those other things knocked off the list that were ahead of it. We did finish quite a few things, and then we are just waiting on funding on that one because we're not doing a majority of that work. It's more going to be funded. It was an ARPA money is what we were looking to do, and they haven't said what they're going to do with the ARPA money. So we're just kind of hanging on, waiting until those dollar amounts get set, and if we have the opportunity to take advantage of those.
In case I get asked, Will, is there anything on here about the volleyball?
No, there isn't, but if you would like to add it, Jim actually just brought it up as well. His daughter's in volleyball as well.
That's why he's doing it.
She pulls a lot of weight.
It is on the record.
Make sure you get that in there.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems like pretty reasonably simple.
Well, Will's got some, valid concerns about putting up the net, right? But where do you put it up in a high visibility
We just got to
area?
find the place to put it where it's going to be used and not abused. And I believe there used to be a sand volleyball court in Ellis Park, and it was in between number 1 and the Winterland building, but on the field one side. But when they put the trail in and the new sewer trunk, they pretty much had to rip up that whole area. I think it does need to be in a very visual spot so that it won't get abused. And we could actually look at that in some of those new properties out west as well, because we will need to have amenities in those, and we need to be able to afford it, which volleyball is fairly low cost, especially since we already have some poles I think we can repurpose. So that may be a fairly easy fix to add them in there. I'll add it to the list.
Seems like it all good.
Something I didn't see, and I don't know if it's something we're still looking at, is phase 2 of amphitheater.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The back portion and then landscaping stuff
And I
like
know
that.
that's gonna be costly. If
Yeah,
you
but
could add it, cause so I don't wanna lose, I don't wanna let that go, I wanna keep it on the radar.
And that's kind of what this list is about, you know, we may not be able to accomplish it, but if we
Oh, yeah.
always keep it out there, I mean, it's goals we're working towards.
What's the change entry to the deck?
So currently,
You told me that, but I can't remember.
currently the way the DAC is laid out, we had to lose 2 doors on the Bostic gym side. So there's like fire code issues with that. Our capacity is smaller. So we've been looking at the option of using the southwest entry to the building, you know, in between, I guess it's the Wayne Street entry, just, I don't know, actually it's right out these doors.
Right.
You go straight out.
Yeah.
Because it's a better entry point.
And then go down those steps.
And then
Were
take
you
a
guys temporarily going down when you were doing?
Yeah, we were kind of trying it out. We're like, oh, it was a pop fly anyways, but we're like, all right, let's just try it out and see how it goes. It's kind of cool too because there's, you know, we can have an area for marketing in there. It also is a nice like waiting spot. It's really the same setup, just in reverse, you know, and then we can fix the fire code issues on the other side and
Seems
then
like a no-brainer.
open up Bostic as well.
We'd like a no-brainer.
We'd like to add turnstiles in there so we can actually count how many people go in and go out. And then the new fob way would be a turnstile through. Same thing we're looking to do at the Aquatic Center too. So we actually know how many people go in and go out of our facility, and then we can use those numbers, you know, later on. Plus, it helps kind of be a guard right there when maybe we're not standing right there. So those are some goals that we'd like to go after.
The fobs don't tell you how many people.
They do, but right now you can just walk by it if we're not right there.
You can walk under the turnstile.
Well, I mean, these are ways, I mean, you have to jump over it, I guess. And there's still that opportunity, but it's easier than missing the sign in. Hopefully it will be better. We're looking at that at the pool too, because the way you enter the pool, you can send your kids straight in. And we never know how many you have. You know, so we're losing dollars in some places just because of that. Most fitness centers you go to, like Plainfield, if you go to Plainfield, they have 8 turnstiles when you're going in.
Really?
All the aquatic centers have turnstiles.
That's working okay for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like an extra person. You know, you can still jump it, of course, but it helps with the count and it helps with people trying to sneak people in.
So, seems odd to me, but if it's working other places.
Anybody else have any more questions on the project list? Any comments besides what we've already done? Okay, we'll move on. Recreation and aquatics hiring process.
So we wrapped up the first round of interviews. I think we had 7 supposed to interview. We only ended up interviewing 6, and then we are bringing 5 to the final, hopefully final round tomorrow. We're doing a little bit of like a progressive interview where they get to meet everyone, and then we have some situational things for them to do. We got a little bit of everything. I think that's why I wanted to invite 5 of them, because, you know, we have one maybe good at programming, not so good at aquatics, one good at aquatics, not so good for one with a blend of both, but are they good at either side? So we're hoping to kind of go through and weed that out as a team and find that last fit for us.
Are any of the candidates from our town?
There is one from, actually, she worked at our summer park program, so that's kind of cool. We have some with I think there's 2 from Brownsburg, 1 from Indy, 2 from Indy. So 1 from Danville, 2 from Brownsburg, and 2 from Indy. And some have parks experience, some have lifeguarding experience, some have YMCA experience.
So you're hoping they start mid-July?
Yeah, I mean, my guess is hopefully we would maybe offer by Monday, something like that. And then if they accept it, then we'd have the 2-week window. And then in get them in here, but yeah, it'd be nice to have the extra hands because we're dying. It's been a long summer already.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
By the way, Garrett, glad to see you back and healthy. It just seemed like it was getting everybody.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, it was.
Anybody have any questions or comments on hiring process? Hearing none, we'll move on to host fund.
so I didn't get a chance to finish the budget. I'm a little bit ahead of the game on that anyway, so when I get that done, I'll send it out to you. But I don't see many things changing. The only thing will be the request for capital things. I will try to go for the staff member that we've been trying to get for 10 years. Again, I don't know if it'll be there or not, but you don't know until you ask. So we'll stick with those, and then we have a couple of equipment items that we want to look at as well. So with the host fund, I wanted to kind of continue the host fund projects, looking at the pool. With the master plan, they wanted us to focus on fixing the items that we already have before we look and go to build new things. So this is kind of, following what the citizens want. So splash pad remodel, it's been great, but it's, kind of falling apart. It needs updated and maybe needs some interactive features. The slide structure painting, the blue part of the slide needs painted. We've done the other parts of the slide. Now we need to do the stairs and all. And I got a price on that. I feel like it's really high, but it's a starting point. It may be cheaper than that. So, but I wanted to make sure it was out there. Pool house remodel. This is kind of something we've wanted to do for a long time. When you go in there, it looks straight out of the 70s. So we really want to, redo the floor because it's concrete floor. We painted the walls and we've done some enhancements, but it needs more. All the countertops are falling apart. Fountain drink machine has been our nightmare this year. Hopefully we got that fixed now. Coke came and replaced all the stuff after 27 tickets. And just kind of cleaning it up, making it a little nicer, a little more friendly when you come in, because it's really important, when you first come to a place, that sets the tone. And right now I feel like we're subpar on what we have. Not that we need anything fancy, we just need basic, nice, and clean. And then North Park field remodel. So when they continue with the project of the water plant, this next phase, we will lose field 6. And so we are, they are buying the land off of us, which I've negotiated that. I haven't seen the check yet, but so I'm going to use those dollars to fix field 6. And then my goal with that too is to take field 5 and then flip it over. So we have 2 fenced nice fields that will sit in front of the football tower. So they'll be nicer than what we have. They'll be fenced in like the Little League ones because they're having a lot of issues with, they fix up the field and then somebody goes rides a bike on it or does stuff. So we're hoping to kind of fix some of that. Plus reuse the football tower. So that's a nice benefit. We've asked the water department, there's wastewater that goes through there so we can connect right in so we can have drainage, which will be really nice because we don't currently have that, I think, on any field except for there's a little bit on Barnett, but not enough to really, do what it needs to do. So we're hoping to kind of start that phase of making those fields nicer and kind of move down the line. I don't know what the timeline is going to be on that because we're going to be doing football tower, we're going to be doing quite a few things, but that one's a little bit simpler than some of the other things. So I'm hoping to get a contractor and just contract out that whole area and have Little League kind of help put it together, or Pee Wee. I think we talked about putting Pee Wee over there as an option. So. And then I think that was pretty much it. Those other things are some of the other departments. And just my goal with that was to focus on those items that we've been looking to knock out. They're bigger items, but they're really important. I think they'll make an impact right away when they do get fixed. So this is a request. So this will go in front of the council. It's already been shown to the council, but nothing has been approved.
So we won't have this much longer, will we?
I don't know. There's
What did you ask? We won't have those for much longer. It's not something that's always gonna be around.
There's talks about them coming in and requesting for 10 more years. And then right now, I think when I got the last quasi quote from them was 18 years.
Okay.
The hard part is they've had other landfills come around, so they don't have to use us as much now. So that's why you see the number kind of dwindling. And the town has been saving money too. I think they save like $200,000 out of there every year to hopefully have, it's called the host future fund, to where they can use the dividends off that to kind of keep something around. It's not going to be to this magnitude, but so they can keep something around so that it keeps generating some dollars that can go back to the community.
Anybody have any questions on the host fund request? Any comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the budget. Yay.
So that's what I was saying. I didn't get a time to finish that one, so I'll send that out to you when I do finish it.
All right. Well, there's nothing to question or comment about that, so we'll move on to old business, bollards and crosswalks first.
So we-
Install.
We got the first bollard in and it's up. I wanted you guys to look at it before we continue. And we were gonna spray paint lines, but some sort of spray painting extravaganza happened. So I thought we would wait a little bit on that and just see where that goes before we start striping some lines down. And we'll probably jump into it soon once it cools down a little bit and just kind of start finishing out the stuff. But once I finish the painting part, I'd like for you guys to come and check it out and tell me if you like it or you don't, because we can get rid of it fairly quick if we need to, and just go back to the straight lines if we want to. So
Okay. Tell me when to do it.
Okay.
Just throw me a text, Grant.
Yep.
Okay, any questions or comments about bollards and crosswalks? Hearing none, we'll go to pool update.
So pool season's in full effect. We're through kind of like the hardest part of the season, I would say. Our preseason sales were up a little bit, which is super nice. I also probably kudos to Madison on getting the information out there. That helps so much with that preseason sales. It has been a lot of work, but it is what it is on that, and we're getting through it. We did make quite a few improvements this year as far as the inside goes. We did a lot more painting, changed some of the baskets around. We moved lockers inside so that the staff would have lockers, which just kind of helped keep it a little more clean. We bought a new hot dog machine, which I'm not in love with, but we'll work on that later.
They're hot dogs, Will.
Do what?
They're hot dogs.
Yeah, it's the cleaning that has to happen
Already
after
in
it. Yes, that's the worst part about it, because you got teenagers trying to clean it, so. And then we're just kind of working through a really green staff. And that happens pretty much every 3 years anyways. The full cycle of the old people, they move on, and then you get brand new ones in there, and they're real green, so you gotta teach them about life. Most of them, it's their first job. So spending that extra time just talking with them and stuff like that. Yeah, other than that, I hope to have actual pool numbers in the next meeting and see where we're at. We did spend a lot this year. So chlorine went up 30%, which is a lot. So in that budget, I'm gonna ask for that 30%. Hopefully I'll get it. But we need to get Chase Loungers. They're just past their mark. And we spent a lot of money this year on safety fixes. And so that's the most important. And then if we have extra money, then we go and get Chase Loungers. But there was just a lot of fixes this year. And I'm hoping to maybe do like a heavy order of Chase Lounges next year.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll move on. Rec update.
So we did have to cancel the concert. I don't know if you guys saw that. We were all kind of depressed by it, but it ended up being a good call because it rained.
It didn't just rain, it
Yeah.
rained.
So it was a good move. We've actually, knock on wood, we've never canceled a concert so far. So that's, like the first one ever for us. But they were nice and said that they would move it back to the end of September. So we're not out anything. Hopefully it's just going to be a little bit cooler of a concert towards the end of September. And we don't really have anything in that time frame anyway, so it should be pretty nice. And then the next one, I believe, is the 8th. So that'll be good. I think it's the Beatles too, right? Yeah, it's like Rigsby's, but it's the Beatles tribute band. So I'm interested to see what kind of crowd we have come out for that, because there's like some diehards that I think will come out, and it's a pretty good venue in general, so.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on rec update?
Oh, and we have junior golf coming up. We have a bunch of intro to pickleballs that's coming up. Those seem to be selling pretty well. Macrame tonight at the Blanton House, and a leathers workshop coming up as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. So that's when we're having trouble.
So what?
Anybody who wants to do it. So,
Leathers.
yeah.
Yeah, like leather,
Dog collars, like one's a dog collar or a
keychain.
keychain or a dog leash.
So it's like a craft. You go,
Yeah.
they'll teach you and you come home with a dog collar.
work leather.
Does this cost me?
Yeah, I think.
The leash is 60. The
I mean, to
collars-
attend this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to attend it, and then you
Yeah,
get to
the
go on
finals.
with it. And then macrame tonight is 35, and we're doing, like a wall hanging. So,
Just trying to think of different
Who's
ways.
teaching this stuff?
it's a company called Uptown Commons. They're based out of Brownsburg. I saw them at a chamber event. That's how I met them. And we did another class like a month ago, and it sold out. This class is sold out. It's actually a lot of fun.
And then
How many
macrame buses
go?
come
But
on.
when it's sold out, what's the
So
number?
10 is for macrame. 10 is the limit.
10.
Yeah, so we're trying different avenues. And we have junior golf coming up. Actually, my kiddos signed up for
Who
the
teaches
July.
the junior golf?
Just says the name. What was it?
The course? you mean?
Yeah, it's the pro,
Schroeder?
Jeff Schroeder, yeah. So we team up with them, we do the marketing for it, kind of set it all up, and
I
then
think I was out there for one. Have you already done one?
yes, I think there's 3 this year.
Yeah, I was there for it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I
It was good.
know, it's good to get them started and.
I mean, there are a couple of kids that had good swings and others that could never get it.
It probably was pretty comical at that. Never know, they could find their love there and that could change their, the way they live their life. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things going on, but those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head.
Okay, any questions or comments about rec update? Hearing none, move to football tower.
So we went out, we got our permit. So we got our permit last week, and then we immediately went out to Plainfield and Mooresville to survey their fields to see what their slopes are and stuff. So Plainfields is messy, so we know we don't want to follow that, and our specs currently don't follow that. But when we went out to Mooresville, there's a really nice. They have 4 football fields, and they're all crowned in the middle and slowly sloped to one side. If we can mimic that same thing, these fields will be rock stars. So got that done. Our next phase is to negotiate the contract for the dirt work, and that's kind of where we are now. And hopefully get dirt moving here soon.
So they'll practice down below all of them this year, you think?
So this year will be messy. I think they're going to practice around the outside and then all through the park, which is a couple of years ago. That's what they did before. But we're just trying to get by and see what we can do. I think they're going to do. They talked about K1 fields in the main Ellis Park, but I think I heard through the hearsay that they're working on a deal with the school maybe to have some options out there, which that would be nicer for the crowding issue that we always kind of run into. But I know it's hard if you have kids in both to be able to, you got to split up to do that. So we're going to work with them, whatever it takes to get through and get by. But, we want to have that good product in the end so that they don't ever have to worry about, football fields in the future.
Any questions or comments about football tower? Hearing none, please state audit results.
So we had the audit, and we kind of talked about this a little bit last time. This is another one of those ARPA money waiting items for us. I also want to probably, me and Eric, go to Blast Off. I want to go see what they've done because Brownsburg did a similar remodel, and I want to see what exactly they did to their surfaces. And see if it's something we want to follow the same model or try something different. So
Any questions or comments about Playscape? I don't even want to talk about the next item. I already heard. The awning.
What's wrong with that?
Wait,
So,
it's gotta come down.
so the awning people came in on a Friday. They called us Thursday night. We're like, hey, we've got a window. We're gonna come and try to hang your awning on Friday. So, we're freaking out. How do we get our people around? We got half our staff's gone. So we're figuring out how to navigate stuff. And they were like, well, we got 2 up today, and then we'll come back on Saturday and we'll finish the whole thing so you don't have to worry about summer park program. Because we were freaking out because summer park program starts the next week. And we have, 100 kids coming, and that's where they enter. So they're like, oh, well. So they go through, and then Monday we come in, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird. None of the lights work. And I'm talking to Barry, and I guess they, instead of calling us, they just cut the lines and hung it up. They said because no one was there, but Nate was here. They have my phone number, and they just stuck it up there. And so Barry's freaking out. They drilled through one of the fire panels to put one of the things on. And so we're kind of back and forth there a little bit because we're pretty angry that no one would call us and that they would drill through a fire panel and not tell anyone. And so we're meeting Friday at 10:30 to hopefully come up with some solutions. We have looked at it a little bit. I think we could still get the electrical pulled through with how it is, but we just have to drill a couple circle holes in the underneath side of it. But the awning itself looks awesome.
Yeah.
Once we paint the doors, it's going to be amazing. It'll look like it's been there 100 years. We're doing some concrete work too. I don't know if you've seen, they started cutting some of the concrete on the southwest side. They're going to redo it so it flows into the other side, and then eventually the northwest corner, we're putting in a new door where the conference room is, and we're reconcreting that part as well. Hopefully so we can use the conference room again, because right now it's unusable in its current state. So there's a lot of things going on, and it's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, but just temporarily because it's here. That's half the battle. And we'll get it back up, and we'll figure out ways to compromise with them just to get the job done. But, we're not paying any extra, so
Better not be.
we've waited a long time to get that
2
thing up.
years. We're trying to get it out. 2 years.
It does look awesome, though.
It does. I just, when I heard with all the mishaps.
Yeah. It's almost like that with every project we've been doing lately. It's the construction side, they're rushing to get things done and get it put in. And when they get materials, they're like, go. And then we're like, oh, you're here? They don't call. Same thing happened with slides.
They never.
It's like, oh, hey, we're going to be there tomorrow. It's like, well, how can we prepare for you if you tell us one day? So, but, we're rolling through it. We're still getting things done. So we got to stay pretty positive on the outcome, because the outcome is going to be good. It's going to be good.
It will be. Do we have any questions or concerns on the awning? And then we'll go to the deck update.
We already kind of touched this one a little bit, but we did add some chalk, what do we call them? Chalk selfie stations down in the deck. Something we've been looking to do to kind of help people market while they're there. What's the one say? One's like,
Sun's out, guns out.
yeah,
And it has the hashtag Flex the DAC. And then one has just the DAC logo and our website.
we've been doing some touch-up painting too down there. Just trying to keep it going. The humidity down there is sick right now. We have 4 humidifiers, and we gotta dump them multiple times a day, so kind of hanging through that. But this weather, hopefully it'll break a little bit. I heard the weekend's supposed to be a little cooler, but
Any questions or concerns on the deck update? Hearing none, financials year to date.
so I've been spending a lot at the pool concessions wise, but we're gonna kind of crack down on that and get a little tighter once we get towards the end of the season. There's nothing really major in there except for I wanted you to look at think it was the very last page. Second to last page. So it said, let's see here, park non-reverting fund.
Yep.
Yep.
So if you look at the impact fees, last month was a really good month for impact fees. So with that, that's year-to-date $200,000 in there. So that's just this year. That's really good when we look towards the future for trails and parks. Right now, I don't know that there's a need to buy more parkland per se, because we do have the possibility of those two properties, unless we look at maybe some Little League stuff. But, so we're doing that pre-design for the trail that we just approved, like maybe 3 meetings ago. So having that little nest egg means we may be able to do full design for it too, this year, which is awesome. That could push that project forward like years. Because once you have pre-design, you can go for grant money. So that is super exciting, because that will be amazing to connecting everything together. And that the citizens, like number 1 and 2, trails, that's what they want. So it's exciting to see we can actually start, doing some of that stuff that we've always talked about.
Okay. Any questions or comments about financials today? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second, please.
I'll second.
With the seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.